Hey, this is Coach Donnie Bostwick. I'm the head basketball coach at Oklahoma Wesleyan University and a proud part of the NBC family. I want to talk to you today about, honestly, one of my weaknesses and something that I've tried over the years, especially being married over 25 years, to get better at listening and the power of listening. Um, one of the things in the Bible it talks about is to listen to His voice, and it's a small voice. And I think most of us get so busy in the chaos that goes around us. 2020 has been nothing but chaos. But at the same time, it's given us the time to get alone with God. And a lot of times we find ourselves in our house alone, isolated in some ways. And sometimes that's bad, but sometimes that's good. You can get out and you can relax and you can just start spending time in a quiet place. The quiet place is a place that Jesus went to in the mountaintop to see, and talk to his Father. So as we see what he did, we want to do that same thing. One of the things I've learned is the ability just to make myself, discipline myself, to come home sometimes and just, a good friend of mine said it like this. My wife, she might be home with my kids all day and she needs an adult to talk to because she's worked hard for that. So he puts his bucket down and he just sits there. And he just lets her fill the bucket up as she's talking about her day and talking about all the things that went on and just enjoying the conversation. And he could easily be turning the TV on, looking at his phone, things I would probably do. But he says, just let her fill it all the way up. And if it gets full and she wants to give more, then he puts another bucket up there and just lets her fill up her ability to communicate to you. And you give the power back of listening. We all, as coaches, love players who listen. There's one thing you can hear, but you don't always listen. And some players listen, and then they don't make that same mistake twice. I always say, don't be afraid to make mistakes. I hate fear. And when you start having fear, it just locks you down. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. Just learn from your mistakes. Don't make the same mistake twice. And if you learn to listen, from your coaches will usually warn you. I know the Holy Spirit warns me sometimes. He guides me, it says in the Bible. He not only does that, he empowers us to learn to take over our weaknesses and learns to just get in that quiet place again. Sometimes I like to go fishing by myself, and I think my wife has asked me, like, why do you not ask a friend to go? And I'm like, I do. I meet him there. Jesus is waiting for me a lot of times out there on that water as I'm relaxed. Everything's quiet. I'm in his beautiful landscape and what he's made, his creation. And I'm able to sit there and enjoy my time just resting and listening to God. I love worship. And sometimes you can still hear and listen as you listen to music. I've heard that music goes past your head and straight into your heart. And that's why you got to watch what you listen to, because the words in those are actually going through and into your head, even though you're feeling the beat with your heart. And so what are you pouring in through music? That's another way to listen to what you're actually listening to and avoiding putting negative or things you shouldn't be hearing. You don't even know what they're saying at the same time. Why not flip that and get into some stuff? We were blessed to have a mission trip to our own city. We had a mission trip planned out of the country, and it was canceled because of COVID. So we brought a mission trip to our own city Saturday, and so many people were in need of just hope. And we were focused on going from fear to freedom and listening to God's voice as a group and letting him, tell us how much he loves us. And that fear is a liar, and Satan, and all the anxiety and panic and depression and addiction, all the things that go along with that. Letting God tell us how much he loves us, and that he could send his power back like he did when Jesus said we're going to send the Holy Spirit back to consume all of that. You don't have to walk in that. It lives in us. The church is not a building. It's in us, and the Holy Spirit is housed. He wants to stay in us and live and help us flow through him and learn to hear his voice, which, as I said, is one of my biggest weaknesses. So I found it a little ironic that Jennifer asked me to do this. And at the same time, I feel like I've studied it a lot lately and I'm trying to get better. So I just want to encourage you to get out and listen today and hear at the same time everything that God says. So I want to thank you for listening today. NBC loves you. We love you. Thank you.